With a magnificent new pits complex built since last year to improve working conditions and safety, hopes were high for a Belgian Grand Prix free from acrimony and with clean, close racing. But the greatest unhappiness imaginable occurred before race day, when Gilles Villeneuve, fighting to improve his starting grid position, hit the March car of Jochen Maas. Villeneuve's Ferrari was completely shattered and the driver hurled against the catch fencing. Tragically, heart massage and specialist treatment in Louvain failed to save his life. And on the starting grid, it's Prost and Arnoux fastest, ahead of Rosberg, Lauda, Alboreto and De Cesaris. As a mark of respect, Ferrari have withdrawn Pironi. The engine revs rise and the Belgian Grand Prix is on. And Mansell is stationary. Mansell is stuck. And off go two cars right at the beginning of the race. It's Salazar and one of the Alfa Romeos, Giacomelli. It's Giacomelli and Nigel Mansell is stuck, getting a push start. Soon we will see, we hope. Well, it's one of the Renaults, that's for sure. And behind him is Rosberg. And I can't identify which of the Renaults is in the lead at the moment, but certainly it is Renault's first and third with the very determined Finnish driver, Keke Rosberg. It looks like René Arnoux, and it is René Arnoux who has had such terrible luck this season. And up behind Alain Prost is Niki Lauda in the Marlboro McLaren. And tyres, as ever, are going to count in this race. So Rosberg second, then Prost goes through, then Lauda, there's Alboreto, there are Patrese and Piquet, and through they go. And you will have noticed that Derek Warwick had a bad start at the beginning. So one lap has now been completed. René Arnoux leads, Keke Rosberg second, there they are, and Lauda's going through and taking Prost. Up into third position goes the determined Austrian Niki Lauda with Prost behind him, and then De Cesaris.
Yes, excellent piece of driving by Lauda. He was looking at the manoeuvre the previous lap, practicing it, possibly working out how he's going to do it. De Cesaris is through as well.
Right, so Alain Prost, as he did in the previous race at San Marino, looks as though he has struck trouble. And now, look at the battle between Arnoux and Keke Rosberg is going, and he's through! Into the lead goes Keke Rosberg.
Incredible place to do it, between the two right-handers. That's the most extraordinary piece of opportunist driving, but he succeeded with the manoeuvre, so full marks to Keke Rosberg. Of course, having to take every opportunity with these runners, if they present one, you've got to pass.
Where is Arnoux in relation to Keke Rosberg? It must have been René Arnoux. I saw a Renault and I saw that it is. Niki Lauda is in second place, and on lap 6 then we have the sensational situation that it would appear this early as though René Arnoux, the race leader, is once again with his bad luck jinx striking out of the race. Lauda second. De Cesaris third. Now the battle for fourth between Prost and Patrese going through and taking fourth position.
A good opening performance by the turbocharged Brabham. They ran the car in South Africa, but it'll be interesting to see if the Brabham can perform well, because there seems no doubt that they've got the power and they've got a good chassis. So we'll see how he goes, and he's going very well in the race after a fairly troubled practice session for both the Brabhams.
There goes Prost. Watson pulling away from him.
Yes, I'm surprised that Prost is going backwards through the field at the rate that he is. I would imagine that he's having some sort of trouble with his car. Mansell in the pits, he had the clutch trouble at the start, and he's out of the car, so that looks like the end of Mansell's race. They're just parking that more neatly.
And off! I saw somebody...
Pits. I think he was headed for the pit. Oh no, well look at the dust. Maybe he wasn't. That
was Prost.
Pits. Yes, there goes Prost into the pits. He must have been in trouble because he was building up a big queue behind him, which is a sure sign, of course, that the car's slowing down, going backwards through the field. Let's see what they're doing to it. Well, they're giving him some fresh tyres. That is routine, of course, in a pit stop.
Jacques Lafitte and Eddie Cheever, both in Talbot, and Jacques Lafitte goes through and takes his American teammate, but his American teammate doesn't seem to like him very much.
They seem to be battling away like goodness, don't they?
Onto the tail Arman. And that's Brian Hinton getting in the way of Nelson Piquet, from Piquet's point of view, with Lafitte and Cheever 9th and 10th. So this is the 8th, 9th, 10th battle, and Lafitte is through. Yes,
Hinton managed to get completely in everybody's way there, as far as I could see, and I don't think that Piquet will be a happy man about that, because it cost him potentially the place. And he's got a bit boxed by Henton, who should have let him through earlier. Piquet seems to have repassed Lafitte, who's putting us. They're really battling away, those three. Lafitte putting a wheel on the grass. I would think that Piquet probably got past on the straight with the power of his turbo, going away from that hairpin.
And Nelson Piquet has come into the pits. Nelson Piquet has come into the pits. That's the World Championship man, and it looks as though the gremlins are striking the turbocharged BMW engines.
And there's De Cesaris, who's moved up to second place. Lauda is dropping back a little bit, and Rosberg, as I say, is meanwhile beginning to establish a bit of dominance. He's got his lead up to nearly 10 seconds. John Watson has moved up into fourth place behind his teammate Lauda.
Which means that Michele Alboreto has slipped down the field. We have missed Andrea De Cesaris on our chart. Niki Lauda is back in second position. John Watson is now within sight of Niki Lauda, and as he's coming up to take Raoul Bussell. That's John Watson, number 7, last year's British Grand Prix winner. That was the first time that the McLaren MP4 car had won. And look at this, Watson is now up and coming to try to take Niki Lauda, who is in second position. This is the 46th lap race in this 70-lap race, as Watson is now right up into Lauda's slipstream, a new second-place man.
Yes, I think Watson will have a go now, but Lauda didn't help him through previously when he showed him his nose, but there he goes. Niki doesn't fight it, and John Watson straight through into second place.
Is a Brabham BMW, and it must therefore be Patrese' car.
I think I saw Patrese walking away. Yes, the white helmet there.
Oh. Well, this is lap 54, and with Patrese, number 2, out of the running, that means
somebody else went off then. Somebody speeding. That was the other Brabham.
That's Piquet. Well, the Brabhams are really hitting trouble on this lap. Piquet not in the World Championship points running, of course, but with Patrese out of the running, that means to say that Derek Daly, in his first race in the Williams, goes up to fourth place. And there in the pits is one of the Ligiers, one of the Talbots. It's Jacques Lafitte. Jacques Lafitte, who was in sixth position. V12 Talbot versus V8 Williams. Derek Daly, of course, and very naturally determined to exploit this wonderful opportunity that he has been given by Frank Williams to complete the season in the Williams car, and hopefully to go on and drive it next year, because this has to be the plum drive that Derek Daly has been trying for. Down there is Derek Daly, so clearly Cheever has harried him off the course, but Derek Daly was absolutely at 10 tenths, no doubt about that. It's going to be an absolutely terrific last 2 laps. They're coming into lap 69 now. The gap is 0.97 seconds, less than 1 second in this unexpectedly, tremendously exciting finish to the 1982 Belgian Grand Prix.
But I think Rosberg has the experience and the lack of inhibition to blatantly block for this time. But this is where Watson should be attacking. He's going to, but he's dropped back a bit. He wasn't really in position to attack there for some reason.
Down to the Boulderberg, and off goes for Rosberg, and Watson is through. Change of lead.
Yes, well, he came in too quick there, Murray, and that really was, I have to say, a very, very poor piece of driving by Rosberg under pressure. The one thing when you're blocking somebody you don't have to do is to drive fast. There was absolutely no reason for Rosberg to arrive fast into the chicane. They're on. Watson's now on his last lap, a formality to complete now it should be, and Rosberg must be kicking himself, but that was a blatant mistake.
On the very last lap, John Watson is on his way to his 3rd World Championship victory in his long career. And now John Watson is within sight of that checkered flag. He's going down the finishing straight, and the Belgian Grand Prix has been won by John Watson with, where is he? Keke Rosberg, yes, in second position across the line.
John, in among all the rejoicing with your splendid 3rd Grand Prix victory, we alas can't forget the accident yesterday that cost the life of Gilles Villeneuve. Do you think that Formula One has any lessons to learn from Villeneuve's accident?
Motor racing is very dangerous. That's a fact that everybody is aware of, drivers, everybody involved in it. And an accident yesterday, like with Gilles, was a very sad situation. an outstanding driver lost his life through what was, in my opinion, a pure motor racing accident. And that's the risk involved in motor racing. Unfortunately, it will always be there. As long as you have men wanting to race cars, there will always be that risk.